My husband did something very simple. He talked to people. You're going to be murdered for talking to people. He didn't go after people. He went after your ideas. And if you think it's okay to murder someone because you think they had it coming for them, because they took the time to have people come to the front of the line if they didn't agree with you, and you think it's okay because you don't like what they say or how they say it, that they should be murdered, and you're enjoying it and you're rejoicing in that? That is evil.
Last night it just went by. And everybody gasped. How I feel, I don't know how to feel. Because it's so sad, bro.
Charlie Kirk's memorial is being held today at the NFL Stadium home of the Arizona Cardinals. Up to 300,000 people are estimated to be in attendance there. Let me know if you see any differences between how the deaths of these two men were handled.
Okay, family, I just want you to stay tuned and to compare this to this video between the death of Charlie Kirk and the death of George Floyd, how the white Americans responded. And this reflects to what's happening today during the white Americans oppression and the black Americans oppression under the same system, which is white system. And that's why I came up with this idea of the death of Charlie Kirk and George Floyd during their death, and how the white Americans responded over these two incidents. And through this, we can I'll come back and respond over or give commentaries to the rest of the video after you have watched these clips, because this connects to how things are happening today, like all these conflicts between Iran and America, and how people are responding it when the black people are keeping silent, and how the white Americans are coming out to respond over it, call for the black unity, black help, because they feel like they are on their own, they have been abandoned. So let's stay tuned, and at the end of this video, I'll ask for a response and your feedback to the comment section. Stay blessed.
There was a knee on his neck. They suffocated him. They killed him. It was on video. It was public. We were all at home. We didn't have anything to do. CNN is playing this nonstop. You're getting enraged. You're like, this is racism. They only killed him because he's black. We came out. We protested. The white people joined. But I would say it was very similar to the SARS movement here in Nigeria. While the racial component was different, it was very similar because it was the same brutality. I would argue that it was a little more brutal here in Nigeria. Yeah. I went to London at a time where they were protesting outside of the Nigerian embassy. So I actually got to witness the largest Black Lives Matter protest outside of the United States. And it was driven by solidarity for Black Americans around the Black Lives Matter movement in the United States, and also motivated by INSARS in Nigeria, because it was very similar. You know, you had kidnappings in Chicago from police departments, you had violence, you had people being extorted, you have all of these similarities. And I just think it was a beautiful display of the African diaspora and like how we continue to come together. We saw this in the 90s with Black Americans and South Africans. We saw this in the 70s with Ghanaians when they were leading the Pan-African movement. We saw this in the 60s with Jamaicans and Ethiopians. So I like to believe that while we nitpick, you know, when you speak plainly to people, they will understand.
You can't take people's like historical context away from them. And everybody wants this to. Like, white people are always like, come on, it wasn't us. Like, they want black people to forget everything. Like, every year, white people add 100 years to how long ago slavery was. I've heard educated white people say slavery was 400 years ago. No, it very wasn't. It was 140 years ago. That's two 70-year-old ladies living and dying back to back. That's how recently you could buy a guy.
Let's hear.
And it's not like slavery ended and then everything has been amazing. Like it just...
Oh, glad that's over.
Oh yeah, it just ended like a clean where you don't have to wipe. Just boom. And then it's just been parades and presents ever since. You gotta remember that if you meet a black person, they have gray hair, they remember a time they weren't allowed to use a certain toilet. So give them a little, you know.
It's been 5 years since George Floyd had his life horrifically and brutally stolen from him by police officers. The whole thing was caught on camera and it inspired global protests for the entire summer of 2020. Politicians swore that we would see some long-lasting police reform in the wake of this brutality, and instead we got Black Lives Matter Boulevard, they took a knee wearing a kente cloth, and we got some limited police reform. Over the last 5 years, police brutality is at an all-time high, higher than it even was in 2020. Activists and advocates are being kidnapped off the streets, stripped of their rights, even having their lives stolen from them if they're not charged with federal crimes. Gestures like Black Lives Matter Boulevard have been removed. Funding for national resources for museums and education and resources for black communities have been stripped away. And a couple of days ago, those very police reforms were rolled back just a few days before today. This is a system that can't be fixed because to them, the system isn't broken. It's supposed to operate this way. And every so often, they will give us something to placate us until we seem nice and subdued, and then they take it back. This cannot be reformed with a couple of bills or a couple of laws or even some protests and some time. This is a system that needs to be abolished. Rest in power to George Floyd and to every person who came before him and every single person who has come after him.
I love when people start bringing up how, like, after Charlie Kirk got assassinated, no one started riots in the streets. I want people to realize that statement alone. What did Charlie Kirk do? Sit with a small group of people and say horrible things about everyone else that's not in his group. George Floyd died, he said terrible things. He said also that he was fine getting shot if it is a sacrifice to the world for the little pew-pews we can have around the world. I'm just saying, no one liked him. Like, no one's gonna start a riot because of Charlie Kirk. I did see people going around and go, white people fight back. I ain't gonna fight back. That's not my guy. Fuck that guy. But also at the same time, there were so many lies going around during that whole thing where, like, oh, there was a Democrat trans person doing this. And there wasn't. So everyone who tried to think there was a fight in there have no right to fight because it's their own people.
I'm just saying, like, overall, like, we don't need to go around every day and go, you know what, we're going to point fingers and not know anything to back it up. At the end of the day, during those riots that actually happened, there was actually justification for doing something like that.
Because it was an injustice. And I'm not saying that Charlie Kirk didn't get his unfair death, but ironically enough, this man wanted this. He said if there was sacrifice for shootings, he was willing to laugh at people like dying and pointing out fingers and pointing on the other side going, they're the problem and we should fight back to them. And as a result, his own people are fighting against him. It's like, there's no injustice. It's just like, oh, that sucks. Every soul is beautiful. Yeah, what I mean. But at the end of the day, it's like, you weren't going to be surprised when you're going to say shit like that and all of a sudden rile a bunch of people up and then be surprised when your own side is like, damn, dude, that's fucked. I'm going to keep this video about 2 to 3 minutes. I don't care. But in logic of this is, the people who keep on saying, like, well, George Floyd had a riot and all these other people had a riot. Those people were actually innocent people that didn't have a voice to talk, or the people who did have voices, we were able to fight back to actual injustices. What did Charlie Kirk really give any injustice for? Poor, rich, white people who want to fuck everyone else under them? I don't know. At the end of the day, realize what you're saying and realize why you sound stupid.
So I remember way back when, a long time ago, the year of 2020, there's this guy named George Floyd who lost his life tragically. Horrible thing, should have never happened. I don't care if he was a criminal. I don't care if he was a drug addict. Should have never lost his life. The entire left burnt down buildings. They rioted. They killed people. $2 billion worth of damage and over 40 lives lost. That should never be okay. Should never be acceptable. Someone on the right has his life tragically taken for simply saying, let's have a conversation, even if we disagree. You might not like his thoughts, but that's what he did. Even if he disagreed with you, he said, let's talk about it. And he had his life taken. And what does the right do in response? The Christian conservative right specifically, but now we're seeing an even greater right-wing movement of saying, I forgive you. I forgive you. And after the left celebrates his death, celebrates that a conservative voice had his life stripped from him, the right forgives that killer, forgives the right or the left who's celebrating it, and the left still can't let it go. The left still has to say, oh, why is there pyrotechnics? Why is Tucker Carlson laughing and having a good time at the celebration of life? Why is all this happening? This isn't the country I want to live in. Okay, then get out of here. If you don't want to live in a country where one side celebrates the life of somebody in a peaceful way, even when they have every right to riot and protest and do exactly what you did in 2020, they don't. You want to live in a world where the right goes and shuts you down and attacks you? I don't want to live in that world. This is out of hand. The left is ridiculous.
The message for the Iranian people are the Americans don't want this war.
I'd like to say that to the people of Iran, this war is not legitimate. This is from our government, not from the people.
Our hearts are with you. We don't want this war. This is happening against the will of the American people.
I feel the war in Iran is illegal and immoral.
I don't wish this upon them, and I wish that we weren't there because there's no reason for it.
More of our money is being sent overseas to kill innocent people.
I strongly denounce what Trump and this government are currently doing against the Iranian people.
The Democrats are the second largest political party in America, and they haven't done shit. They have done nothing to oppose Trump or anything.
I actually think they're worse because they know what Trump is doing is bad, and they're still making a decision to not hold Trump accountable, and that includes Bernie Sanders.
The Democrats are a controlled opposition party for fascism.
I think they are part of a problem. They do not want to actually stand up. They just want to get their stocks and go home.
They're one party but two-party system that only cares to line their own pockets.
It is two parties of the same system. If we're mad about ICE, if we're mad about Israel, if we're mad about all these things, both parties are going to be in support of those things.
This capitalist system is being supported by both parties. I want there to be a legitimate opposition. The only thing that will stop the corruption in the United States is an international workers' movement that unites in a general strike.
The billionaire class has all united under the single cause. It's finally time for the proletariat to do the same. We need class consciousness.
Labor is the one uniting characteristic of all human beings, no matter what nationality. And if we unite as a class, we're unstoppable.
I am a truck driver. I pull containers straight out of the port right here in Norfolk. If every single trucker stopped going into these ports, stopped pulling out these containers out of there, all the corporations within a 200-mile radius will cease to exist.
Everything is at stake for the working class. If the working class can come together and organize against a very few, very wealthy individuals,
I think we can do it. And I think it would be extremely important to take back the means of production and use our labor in order to fight back.
Right, family, welcome back, family. I'd really appreciate your presence here. Consider subscribing, sharing if you're watching for the first time. Now, I'll be very quick in this conversation. I have a very interesting conversation. Now, do you remember the death of Charlie Kirk? It has just happened just a few months ago. So this is something that everyone remember it. Do you remember the death of George Floyd? Some may remember, but this is something that hit people across the globe. Everyone was able to know all that was happening, and everyone was able to see how things were going on, and how people were reacting. And I was just trying to give out a difference between the Charlie Kirk's death response and the George Floyd response to the white Americans, the black Americans. So my main point is about all that's happening today in America, because today I've seen many people coming up with videos of the white Americans and the black Americans' reaction towards all that's happening, like all that's happening between the Middle East and America, and how the white Americans are responding over it, and how the black Americans are responding towards it. Because at this time, for the longest time, black people have been so silent over all that's happening, and this has brought out some spark reactions. Some of the white Americans asking questions why the blacks aren't joining them to fight this, why the black Americans are not coming out to address anything that is concerned by this, what's happening. Why are they not coming out to join them to fight, and maybe to restore their economy, to restore their peace, and make their life to go on? And a lot of questions that are going on now. That's why I brought this to similarities incident, the same incident with the different reactions. When George Floyd was shot dead in America, you know, white Americans celebrated. They celebrated, they danced, they sang, you know, they celebrated with joy due to the death of George Floyd. The black American side, they demonstrated, they fought back, they cried for justice, they did a lot of things just to make sure that justice was found. But nothing was ever done. Nothing was ever done compared to, and even the time George Floyd was being arrested, it was a chaotic day. It was a chaotic day. People clashed with the police, and a lot of things happened. Compared to the death of Charlie Kirk and his resting day, it was a very memorial and very a great day in the country of America. A very respected and important day to the people of America, the white Americans. They give it a very great respect. Over 300 people attended this. The entire country mourned. And up to this time, they're still following up. It's still under trials to find out the truth, who committed this, compared to what happened to the George Floyd. Because according to the Americans, the white Americans, they were saying that Floyd deserved to die or to be killed because he was a drug trafficker who was spoiling families. But there is no difference between Floyd and Charlie Kirk, because Charlie Kirk was supporting a lot of things that was affecting the black community. When you go through, when you find out about the gun right violence, the gun right laws, he was the one who was pushing it, supporting it. At the same time, this act was affecting the black people because a lot of them were being killed with the gun rights. But the same thing that he was trying to push and support, it is the same law that affected him, that took his life. So why I came up with this? This is because, for example, all that's happening today in America. Today we know that America is not in a good position. Economy is falling. The people are living in fear. The country is under threat because Iranian people are not quitting. They are not silent. They are louder. They issue threats every time. They are threatening to bomb the country of America if America will not quit and do what they want to do. Now, today the white Americans have been asking for the blacks to come and join them to fight all these problems. So when something happens to the black community, it is like nothing has ever happened. It's like nothing have been done. It's just being stepped down. And the white people every time come to ask or to seek for black help when they are in need, when they're in troubles. But when black people are in problem or they are facing any challenge, nobody show up. Nobody comes in. Nobody tries to issue any help. So why is it that when something is affecting the white Americans, they need the help from the black Americans? But when the same thing happened to the black community, no white people, no white person comes out to issue help or to even address the matter that's affecting the black community. So when that incident happened, the mainstream media kept on pushing the incident of George Floyd, celebrating it, and doing a lot of things. Compared it to the Charlie Kirk, the entire country mourned. So today, the people of America, the white Americans, are being affected of all that by all that's happening today, from the economy, from the country security and safety. They are living under fear, and they need the black people to come in to engage in this conflict so that they can fight together, so that they can save their country. And the black people today, some are coming out to say that, you know what, we are not a part of this, we have never been part of this, and it's a time that each and every person stand on his lane, so that you can be able to fight your own problem. So I played a video of the wife to the Charlie Kirk, and how much she was feeling. And that's the same pain that the wife to the George Floyd passed through, but nobody came out. Nobody showed up. Nobody felt it, but only the black people. But nothing happened. The same pain that you are passing through today is the same pain that the black people have been passing through over centuries. But you never took it seriously. You never felt it. You never understood it. You never felt like it is something that's affecting even the people mentality. It is something that was a great damage to the community. So you feel if you need sympathy in this life, you need to have empathy or sympathy to other people. Once you give a sympathy or empathy to some people, it will be given to you back. But you cannot expect to have empathy where you can not give it out. That's the lesson. And that's why I came up with this idea of George Floyd and Charlie Kirk's death. How white Americans responded between the two incidents. This gives you a clear picture of how people feel for themselves and they don't feel for the other. Just to have used the comment section. I really appreciate your time for being here. You are doing great and stay blessed.